We're driving out of Charlie Boy back into Bagada Express. And right there by the median, right there in front of me in the express, the inscription is written for enlargement.
Like, you must really like those boxers.
Anytime I'm in boxers, I'm in trouble. So I'm in my bedroom. I just cut the eba. I was just cutting the eba. 8 p.m. rolling it. And then wifey comes back into the room. She's doing. And behind my wife's head, I see a luger. And then the guy goes, Koffi Baoni. They had thrown him in my office, naked, stark naked. So by the time they say, is this your wife? Okay, all of you enter your office and lie down. I'm seeing myself lying down with my head next to the butt of my Niger Republic Aboki. So,
to quote you, said ignorance was the mainstay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that. So let me put it if I understand. 2/3 of the society in Nigeria is ignorant.
Your maths is wrong. The new drive right now is more than 2/3. We can just go to a particular blog now, open the comment section, and you see for yourself. The rate of depression and suicide in Nigeria is going to increase drastically very soon.
Say that again. There is no formal hierarchy in the Nigerian comedy industry. There's no this person is senior to this person. But you hear people call people bros. There's big bros, there is bros, and so on and so forth. It is that we understand that certain people started at a certain time, perhaps before you, and then you give them respect because we're Africans, we're Nigerians, and we're respectful. Now, my guest today is one of the brosies of the industry. It's in the sense that we started around the same time. I mean, I am his bros after a fashion because he started after me, but he's a bros. He started about the same time and he's since gone from strength to strength. It's not a mean thing to remain in the forefront and in the limelight, as we say, for almost 3 decades now, but somehow he has managed it. So ordinarily we should be having this conversation in Lagos, but hey, here we are sitting in the United States and he'll tell me what he's doing here. On this one, I speak to the very prolific, very talented, the very creative Koffi. I mean, think about it. How many people do you know that can carry one name? Koffi. This is the deep dive. Okay, then, okay.
Well, I stopped carrying one name. By the time I left my Mr. Doctor, I got to my professor stage and it became Koffi the Guru. Yes.
Oh yeah, so, Koffi the Guru.
Okay. So more or less, you're the first person I'm defining it to right now. Most people just say Koffi the Guru, and then they stay in the past. Koffi past.
Okay.
Not realizing that after a while, Nigerians will love titles, but since I can't use chief or some other kind of titles, which usually becomes former. So I decided, okay, let's go for that. And with the works we've put in over time, the Guru. Okay,
so it's one name. I used to think it was like a description, like Koffi, like an adjective, Koffi the Guru.
That's enough in my surname, you don't know. So let's extend it to the professional side too.
Koffi the Guru is one name.
Popcorn.
Okay. Great. Koffi the Guru. So, look. Musician.
Singer.
Okay, what's the difference?
Musician will be Asha Lagbaja, they play instruments, they scale music notes, they do all those things. I just sing. I can sing in any direction. I think I'm the only entertainer in Nigeria who has an album in every genre. I have an R&B album, I have an Akbala album, I have a disco pop album, I have a Fuji.
I never thought about it that way. So a musician is somebody who is
professionally trained.
Is professionally trained, and so a person who cannot play instruments cannot refer to himself.
You shouldn't.
So if all you do is
almost all your pop acts are singers.
I see. So once you call yourself a musician,
you must be able to define music. Theoretically.
Oh wow.
Sonny Ade is a musician. Fela was a musician. But
I mean,
but-
there are many people who will now. So wait, so there are people who call themselves musicians who are not, who should just call themselves singers.
yeah, most of us are singers.
Oh wow.
And that's why singers can go with the flow of the season. This is what is trending. I can switch, I can be Afro pop. But a musician defines, and Femi Kuti is Femi Kuti's sound. Seun Kuti is Seun Kuti's sound. Lagbaja's sound is Lagbaja's sound. So no matter what is raining, it is his music. A musician is his music. Tracy Chapman was Tracy Chapman. Bob Marley was Bob Marley. So pop artists are usually singers. That's why you would have never seen Michael Jackson play instruments except with his percussive tones. So he was some sort of a musician vocally, with the ability to inflex with his voice and all those things. Elvis Presley, musician because he could, but most people were not musicians or are presently not musicians, especially the new.
Tell me a singer, because you've mentioned musicians now. You've mentioned like 7. Who would a singer be?
A singer would be Davido, Wizkid, most of the young guys nowadays, because they are not so caught up in the old ways of making music. Okay. And then they go with the flow of, Wizkid just did some song with some of these newbies, Charlie Poppy. That's always going with the trend. As much as he has his own defined sound now, but they are insisting that he must keep doing what everybody's doing. And in this day and age, it will take him a lot to prove to them that this is what I want you people to understand, that this is my sound. So nowadays, most of the acts you see do not do their own sound. Chike, for instance, has a defined sound. So he could qualify if he does music writing as a thorough musician. As a singer, he's 100%.
Okay.
So a lot of the new guys, I can barely find a lot of them that can.
Okay, enough on this music. I mean, what's my own with all of this? All my fault was just introducing you as a musician. That's what I did to inherit, to deserve all of this lecture. Okay, sorry. As a singer. But as you're saying all of this, you know what comes to I don't know why what comes to my mind. The picture that came into my mind as you were saying all of this was you, Bumi Davis, and I at first of all at French Cultural Center. Fuzigbagi. You're silly. You're silly.
Emmanuel Black Jesus, Obesere, Femi Kuti, Lagbaja, same night.
You know, because we used to do all those. I want to tell Seun when I speak to Seun that, Seun, do you know how young you were when we started coming out to see you? At the French Cultural Center on Saturdays. I'm shocking by telling him that
we had runs. Then Asha had a session, Sound Sultan had a session, Tunji Shotimiri had a session that I used to go a lot.
And then there was one where we went to the shrine opening.
Yes.
And we I mean this was 1998 when after Fela died and Femi opened the shrine. And then we went to the shrine opening and we didn't have cars. So we come back to my father's house in the middle of the night.
With Okada.
And so we got home, we got to PWD bus stop
by Naval Base.
By Naval Base about 2 a.m. And we're crossing the road to go to my house. And we're hearing OPC men. We couldn't see them, but we're hearing the sounds of them whipping some people that were out after curfew. So we're hearing the tush, if you so we're there, we're frozen. We're frozen. And we're thinking if they catch us,
it's all over.
And so we had to sneak, and then we got to my father's house, and then we had to climb the fence. We had to jump the fence.
The person that was supposed to be awake
wasn't awake. We're just young men. I mean, we're essentially. I said this was fun. All those years ago.
We didn't have to be worried about what could happen other than the OPC men at night. We could move around. And
speaking of which, you were very. So I was going to say, as a singer, my favorite track that you did. I mean, you know, my favorite track is Aroma, right?
Yes. You were the one who morphed it to what it became from what I had originally done. And I always let people know that the Aroma you hear that became a hit song was not the initial one that I did. It was Teju that said, Okete, we have to adjust this. After this place, take out our names, put a chorus there. So the arrangement, if we're paying royalties for that today and I was making money off it, then your name would have been somewhere there as one of the arrangers of that track. Then I will get full payment for the one I did alone. But in music parlance and in the royalty strata, you're supposed to get paid for being the one who said, no. This has to be this has to be this has to be this. But Nigeria is a place where
and me without any knowledge, any formal knowledge of
from listening to all of this
stuff that I listen to.
Yeah. So yes, naturally to come.
And I'm glad because I love that song. Yeah. I love Aroma.
Aroma is 21 years now.
It does something to me. Apart from the nostalgia that it manages to invoke, it also I like that song. I like the one with I like both versions, but I prefer the strings.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that was yes. Yeah, that was the seller for you.
Yeah, I like the it's just
then there's a drums version.
Yeah, there's the drums version that has all of us. Yes, that has all your guys in it. Yes. Okay, so for those who don't know this, just in case you think I'm just telling him because he's my friend, Koffi's music forms the background for about 60% of all the soundtrack of the Teju Babyface show.
Yeah.
That song you used to hear that brought you into the show. We water, don't pass, we Gary. That's a Koffi sound. And then we use Candyman on the show.
Ofolo.
And the song that brings in the governor Babyface. One Ofolo that's Koffi as well. So Koffi was 60-70% of the soundtrack of the Teju Babyface show that you love. So you need to know that. So when I'm here talking about the singer that he is, you need to understand why.
And there's a song that you loved a lot.
There's several.
You can't get it. This one you can never remember it.
It must be Su Gbami. Me man never travel.
If I sing it, you will be shocked.
What is it? So which is it? Oh yeah, the song you did for the people who
passed, our friends
who passed. Yeah. And okay, so if you're listening to this podcast at this point, I hope you're enjoying it in the spirit of it, because this is two guys catching up, and usually I do interviews that I am curious about, but this is not only curiosity, this is also camaraderie. Camaraderie, doing this.
This is catch up.
This friendship. This
is brotherhood.
So my favorite song is Aroma, but my favorite album is Green.
Record.
Oh, record.
That would be a record. Album will be Ability.
Okay. What's album? What's record?
Record is a particular song. Album is the collection of all.
Okay, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking in terms of. So when I think record, I think I'm old school. I'm thinking record as
the
photo. Okay. So my favorite album is Green. It's the album that has my favorite songs.
Green.
And that has Green.
Yeah. So, yes. Ability.
Green was the title track.
Yes.
Right. In fact, see how much it's sunk into my mind. The album is called Ability, but I think of it as Green.
Yeah.
Because Green is the title track. And this was what you went about in Green. What year was Green?
That was 2004. Recorded 2004, released 2005.
Good.
Album came out 2006.
The idea behind Green was you're very Nigerian.
Yes. I was the first pro-Nigerian young person at the time, trying to make people realize that this is our place.
Yes,
we need to do.
Place. In fact, green, I'm born green, white green, I bleed green.
I'm green.
Like, what's green? Just green.
And ironically, about the same time, T.Y. Bello drops, the land is green for me. Years later, I do Stranded at Heathrow, Can Get Back Home. Almost every album has a pro-Nigeria song.
Yeah.
And then one gospel song. So it's a strategy over time. And even up till the last one I just did, it's just something that I think I owe my fatherland.
And yet here you are, not in Nigeria, sitting in this United States, having, for all intents and purposes, moved.
Well,
and you used to be we're never leaving this place. In fact, that used to be your attitude. We die here.
In fact,
in Nigeria,
everyone who heard that I'm in Texas, they're like, they have two reactions. They're like, yes, Koffi, you have tried, like, then they go, but you be Nigeria hardcore now, it be you hold it down, like, but then they look at it like, wait, this guy has done so much and it doesn't seem like these people get it, so he should get out. For real, like, just leave them be. I just read some of the remarks I got this morning to you.
Yeah.
Not many people know I left. And not like I left. I'm just here I've just been here for like a few days. But mentally, I had to leave. Because when the place starts to get as it is right now, it's going to pull you down. When everything around you just seems like... in 2019, I had an interview on Sahara Reporters. So that was just about the time Buhari was coming back. And in 2018, I had granted an interview where I said I'm not going to vote Buhari the next time because I was starting to see the trajectory of our woes coming. So by 2019, when I granted that interview, that was when I knew that ignorance was the mainstay in Nigeria. That there was a new crop of people who lacked comprehension and were drawn to the vain things in life rather than the realities that we were living in at the time that hadn't gotten this worse. So I tell them in that interview, I say, man, no sector is working. And then they posted on Facebook, and then I saw the remarks, the comments. It wasn't as heavy as it is right now, but as at the time, if I was someone who didn't have a strong skin or a strong shell, I would have gone into depression Meanwhile, at the time, contrary to public perception and what they are available to, because it is not everything I throw out there, they didn't know how well I was doing because I wasn't posting it on Facebook, on social media. So they assumed that, for me to say no sector is working, I was referring to me not doing well. So they started bashing me. Now when joke don't finish, now they will tell us it is no they work. Now when their career don't die. So they assume that it is only when they see you hobnobbing around that you're making it. They don't understand that there are different stratas to success. So they just took to the public. One or two people went into the comment section to school them that, this guy, as at the time they were doing the bashing, I was living in Oniru. I'm sure a lot of their generation would never be able. Prior to that, I was living in Ikoyi. So I was trying to figure out, where is this coming from? Like who? Shebi just build mansion. Akporo just buy car for his wife. I'm like, what are they saying? We say no sector is working. So you assume that because a few people in my own industry are posting their successes, that means the rest of us are not doing well. So once you have a particular doctor that treats you, every other doctor that you don't know is not doing well. And then if you pick maybe one or two people from an industry as a yardstick for success, it means every other person in that industry is not doing well. So it shows that our perception for success in Nigeria has really gone down the drain. A lot of people do not understand value anymore. They just think it is the person who shows their shoes, their wristwatches, their cars, and the way they move around about town. And if you even check the volume of the few people who do that, they are actually in the minority of the progress of every industry or institution. If you check, maybe it is one or two people that you see all the time show that I'm doing well. Check the volume of the people who cannot show you that. You see that they are the ones that are actually the major drivers of that ministry. If you go check it. And then you don't see engineers coming all the time to show that we are doing well. You don't, but because we're entertainers, we have to show you that we're here. And at some point I just felt, do I necessarily have to get validation from somebody who cannot afford to pay me? No matter how I show you every day that I'm doing well, when you now have to get my services and I give you the bill, I notice that you don't respond to the chat anymore. And you don't call anymore when I say, okay, this is my bill. They don't even say, I will get back to you, because they cannot, at that point they are speechless, they can't speak. Mm-hmm. When you just say, I charge 3 million for such events, there's this echo from the other side.
Or they switch to, if they speak Yoruba, they switch to Yoruba at that point. Mr. Koffi.
So a lot of those things started to get to me like, what exactly is going on? So after that incident, I became very careful of my utterances in public space, and then gradually I started realizing that I started withdrawing a lot, because once in a while in social media space, the few of us that are enlightened, that are supposed to rub off on others, are starting to become their heckle materials. They now start using us to catch crews. When someone like me says something important, you go to the comment section, you hear very nasty, toxic things. You start hearing remarks that makes you feel like, what exactly are we doing here? Why am I in this space? So if you notice, gradually people like us started withdrawing, and then we now started seeing a lot more idiots in the space. No, I'll say it as it is. Right now, our social media space is so toxic that it got to the point that they wanted to regulate social media. How did we get to this point? Exactly 10 years ago, I joined Telegram. We're posting fun pictures, using it as a reservoir for our stuff so that I can go back to it. The comment section was all encouraging. Somebody sees your post, then the bloggers took over, and then they intensified the need for traffic, and then corporate Nigeria took it to the next level. You must get us numbers. And now in the need to get numbers, the valuable things that needs to trend and be seen and shown to the young people started to go to the background. And then any other thing that could just make people find their ease of mind, take their mind away from their daily stress, became the things that they must now show continuously. And then corporate Nigeria felt, that is the only way we can get people to see our product. And then everybody just went to the marketplace. Nobody thought of what they needed to do to checkmate the sanity of our people as a collective. And that's how we got to this mess. We want numbers. Me, I want traction. So even if you have valuable stuff to offer, this one. And then gradually they started seeing less of important things in that space. If you must remain relevant, you must be scandalous. You must have one issue or the other. People must shout, talk about you. Hardly do you see people celebrate people anymore. So for me, I just felt after a while, man, my children should not grow up and see a lot of this. And then at some point, your kids are starting to grow up. They pick chatter about your work. And then sooner or later, they're going to run into comments about you on social media and start to be like, wait, what? Oh, you mean outside the home, this is how our father is? Negatively. Meanwhile, at home, they see you as so you now start looking like a pretender. Because the populace, the popular opinion now starts to become the main opinion. And then I felt, no, this was not necessary. Yeah, just disengage. So most of what you see about me is just the work. You like it, stay. If you don't like it, move. But those who know the value always seek it. And those who want it, they get it.
Seems almost like you gave up on the people as much as you gave up on the system. Because usually when you hear people say they're leaving Nigeria, they're giving up on Nigeria, they're talking of the system. Usually they're talking of the leadership.
Yeah, all encompassing.
I've usually never heard people talk about the people themselves. I mean, to quote you said ignorance was the mainstay. Yeah, that's that. So let me put it if I understand English. That's well, not even English, in mathematics, that 2/3 of the society in Nigeria is ignorant.
Your maths is wrong. The new drive right now is more than 2/3. So you have to use calculus to get the real figures.
Okay.
As x,
maybe 3/4.
As y tends to infinity.
Maybe 3/4.
Yes.
Wait,
because
really?
We can just go to a particular blog now, open the comment section, and you see for yourself, and compare it to a sane society. You see that as far as they're concerned, it screws. And even people that are supposed to know, go and see the arguments. You'll be like, it just shatters you. You're like, how? When primary 3, when they started teaching us comprehension, by primary 5, we already understood. So if you left primary school at primary 5, 6, you would carry on in life very well. But go check the videos that they do on campuses nowadays for graduates when they are passing out. during graduation ceremonies wearing gowns, and they ask them very basic questions. And you see all the funny videos around from graduates at NYSC camps. Things that my son would see and be like, My son saw such a post. By the way, one of the reasons why I also thought, man, these kids must not continue seeing this. We're driving out of Charlie Boy back into Bagada Express, and right there by the median, right there in front of me in the express, the inscription is written, for penis enlargement. Call. So now my son K is right here. Keisha is by the other side. K sees the description and goes, oh. And then it dawned on me, say, this generation, they pick up faster. Keisha right now hears some songs, brings the paper and writes out the lyrics herself, then sings it back to me. They are way ahead of us at this age. So the boy goes, like he's trying to imagine what, plus other things that they wrote in that. So I was like, is this what my son will be seeing once in a while on the walls of Lagos as we drive? So I say no.
But look, you have so you could afford to. Yes.
Wait, let me land on that thing you said, that I gave up on the people rather than the leadership. The leaders come from the people. Okay, so every household has somebody in authority that is part of the problem. So we're all collectively part of the problem. But the greed and the insanity up there is the reason why we will never get it. I mentioned corporate Nigeria earlier. I can go on and on about it. Take banks, for instance. The higher echelon share so much that those beneath can only aspire to get there as well, rather than let it trickle and balance and everybody's doing well. How do you expect people not to leave? So, in every sphere, every sector, that has become the thing, classism. So everybody in Nigeria is only aspiring to get to the highest level, not stay at their own level and be valued. So that's why you see that politics is the highest level of accomplishment in Nigeria. I must get there. Besides the ego and the authority that comes with the office and the I can have immunity and then have some level of impunity. People don't see the reason why they should stay down and be humble and be appreciated anymore. They all seek to go up there because they know that that's the only place where they can stay and become their own solo government. Because it is when you are up there at that level, at that spot, at that pace, that you can be able to afford to meet up with everything that you need to do for yourself as a local government. Before I left, I was my own local government. I provided almost everything I needed and still get on the road and get taxed by the boys. And then gradually the boys start to look at you as a potential, cash cow. So you find yourself, places you used to go before, you can no longer go. You start, I leave my estate this way, I don't come back the same way because the boys know, at this time he should be back. So I have to go through 2 different routes to my home. Not because I don't have. I have it, but like Yoruba people say, olówó kan láàrin ọ̀pọ̀ òtòṣì. Òtòṣì lòun náà. Sooner or later, we're all going to crumble. We're all going to come down. Because if I share, it got to a point one day, wifey had to look at me. Is this what you go through? My bank app wasn't working, so I had to keep referring to her. So I was sending her account number upon account number upon account number. After she did transaction, is this what you go through? I said, this week was slow. She said, what? And I said, that's why I keep asking you to help me get mint notes. Because every time I go out. So she went out with me one day. And she was like, man, Omo. We went to one function in GRA Kejas. We're leaving. I was calculating my moves. I was telling her. She didn't understand it. Because I saw an opportunity to sneak off before the boys would realize because at that point they had seen one other bigger fish. So they had gone to mob the person. So it wasn't time for us to leave, but as I saw the opportunity, because they had been hanging around waiting for Koffi Mato Shetan. Koffi, Bobo Koffi. I will tell you baby face. Oh, I'm a Koffi. So I snuck off, and she said, "Is this it? I'm not going with you again." She thought it was how it was some 20 years ago when all of us were going to all the events. So she had been away from the scene, but that period she was on vacation. I said, "Okay, let's go to this event together." So when she saw it, she goes, God be with you. So on every level, things started choking, On the professional level, you're doing well. You're making more money quietly, but it doesn't seem like you're progressing because the demands from every other person around you not doing so well was starting to, weigh you down. I was still catering for people as far back as 10 years ago that I was taking care of. People that should have become their own men still reach out to ask for stipends, ridiculous amounts of money to just survive. Of no fault of theirs. Professionals that could work, but because the structureless workplace had to, let go of some people didn't develop further than they were. Let's say, okay, of no fault of theirs. But here in America, even if the system develops beyond your capacity, there will still be something for you to find to do. And nobody would look down on you. In Nigeria, the average organizer on the roadside is nothing to anybody. Yet they don't realize that the organizer saves your lives first before the doctor. Because if the right pressure is not in your tire, you die before they get you to the doctor. But we don't value that for organizer because we lack the knowledge of basic things. Here in America, you have a flat tire on the highway, you know what it means. So if organizer here is a priority one to saving lives. But in Nigeria, he is the last on the radar. Nobody even sees him. So until we see value for different disciplines and people, bro, no, I go wait.
So it was all of it, the people, the system.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Let me give you one. You wake up one morning and you see in the news that former terrorists are being inducted into the police. Bro, do you know what that means?
Strange, you're not the only person who said that to me in the last couple of interviews.
Do you know?
Farouk to me said the same thing.
Do you know what that means?
That Nigeria is the only country where former terrorists are absorbed into the army.
Bro, no, the army, I'm fine. Police. You see, the army, when you send them to missions in different zones in the country, they stay in their barracks. But the police polices society. Just imagine they send down a couple of former terrorists to a particular domestic region in my hood. And they didn't do psychological check for the guy after he said he had become born again. And the tendencies of his former trade kicks in whilst I'm just trying to drive into my estate. Bro.
When you were speaking, you mentioned, I'm not sure whether you told me or whether I imagined it or whether it was somebody else who told me that the day they knew they had to leave, that it was you. He said, you remember how we always used to think that Ikoyi was where we wanted to stay, and we're staying in Ikoyi, and the day I knew we were leaving Ikoyi was when I was out at an event, and the area boy said, Koffi.
Yes.
I said, Koffi, I want Ikoyi.
If I share, see, people don't know my story, and I like it that way. I like for them to look at you from afar and judge you and not know. It gives you some sort of Godfather feeling, like, okay, I know me, family knows me, it's all right. In the future, you get to know. If I give you instances, leave the land before the land shames you. Bro, so I'm at TerraCulture. I'm getting back to my car. And then the area boys all come, hey, we will Koffi, and all this. Okay, we're used to it, Bariga breed, so we know. But then from the back, I just hear, Koffi, Norman Williams, Ikoyi, Koffi, Obu. The moment I heard that, I just turned back. I went into my Bariga mood. Wa kilo se ya e. Ta lo bere address lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Ewo gbogbo explanation. Ṣé lórí tọrọ kọ́bọ̀. Kilo fa gbogbo I just went mad. Like, that's my security, man. Like, my family, you are telling these total absolute strangers where I live, where I stay. He mentioned, I'm like, I go home, I say, babe, they don't reach here too.
We're leaving.
Because we were in Folagoro. Armed robbers' first attack, April 24 that year, took my brand new car, took me and the wife, abducted us, dropped us in my boxers by the highway, found my way back home, just about a month after our wedding. A few years later, I'm in my bedroom, in my boxers, these boxers.
I'm sorry, so same boxers, like the same pair of boxers, or just boxers?
Just these boxers.
You must really like those boxers.
Anytime I'm in boxers, I'm in trouble. So I'm in my bedroom. I just cut the eba. I was just cutting the eba. 8 p.m. rolling it, and then wifey comes back into the room. She's doing, and behind my wife's head, I see a luger. Man. And then the guy goes, Koffi Baoni. Okay. Yeah, where ni abi? Alright, okay. Then one other young lanky one comes in, boisterous, he's the one that wants to prove a point and all. And then that one's bouncing all around. Oh my yeni. Koffi Maori, where are your fans? And in my head it goes, what the?
This is how my fans.
This should not be my fans.
This is how my fans treat me.
Apparently, they were sitting down at some pub, shacking up, and then watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where I played the special edition, celebrity edition, and won 3 million naira for Uncle Gaga of a Cockroach at Dawn, and assumed that the money had come. So they had come home to take their share. They did terrible things that night, but they didn't have my... This thing I'm saying, my aboki, they had thrown him in my office naked, stark naked. So by the time they say, is this your wife? Okay, all of you enter your office and lie down. I'm seeing myself lying down with my head next to the butt of my Niger Republic aboki. So you see, all these are very...
As
in dehumanizing. You start to look at yourself like, am I supposed to be in this space?
And you've gone through a few of these things because
I've gone through. I don't just speak out.
Because while accidents can happen anywhere, one almost took your life that was completely avoidable. Was that last year or the year before the last one? The Ibadan Expressway.
So I escaped that one. Then one morning I wake up, my neighborhood and everything, brain box of the car, every accessories in the car is gone. I had important appointments at the point. So I'm like, wait. So I just told wifey, I just said, you know what? We're leaving this place. Okay? We're leaving this place. I'm a core mainland guy. I'm a Bariga boy, Shomolu boy, Akoka breed.
Yeah, we're shocked when you moved to the island.
So island, no. So my wife was like, she too was not an island person, but she was now working on the island. So all for her good. So I just packed. I said, okay, we're moving. She was like, do you? I said, I have money now. What's the thing? And people used to have the perception that because I stay on the mainland. And so I just told her, let's get a place. And then I had told God, say, after them Kekere Okun's place on that side, that if I'm ever going to live on the island, it has to be that axis. And boom, I found a place in Norman Williams. Got there, looked at it, told them that I was ready to pay. Paid. Following day, when they took somebody, started remodeling the house. 2 weeks later, wife, let's go. And we moved. She got there, wow, this guy. And then we were there for a while until this one's. Now, the reason why I moved from Norman Williams was not the first guy at Terraculture, because they are way at the Koffi Junction. But I took wifey to Balogun Market. She goes into the market to buy something. I'm parked by the roadside. Some Igbo guy is selling wares on the ground. But some other lobbyist, the ones that will come and drag you, just comes, sees me, and starts announcing me to everyone around. Say, you don't know. He didn't greet me. They don't greet you first, but they go and call others to come and recognize your presence. Like they are the MC of that occasion. Say, come now, you know Sabia, now Koffi now, that comedian where they sing, blah, blah, blah. I know a place now. In house, the opposite page where they do security. So immediately wifey came into the car. I say, Effie, Yiki, Oga move. She said, what? I said, that guy has been describing me to all the area boys here. She was like, I said, I told you that way movement again. So we moved into the interiors again. But after that interior, where is the next place? Even Banana Island is not safe. Where exactly is safe now with the security situations?
Look, Koffi, see, I get all of this, but you must see them. I mean, you must feel them. There are those who feel as if, because that's where the whole word and the essence of Japa came from. There are those who feel as if you leave, that meant you ran away, you escaped, you gave up, and I mean you must hear it, you must feel it.
I'll tell you.
You must feel it. This is are there not people who are making it in Nigeria? If those people left their country and all of that, I mean there are all this cross section of no, stay, it's going to work. People are making it, people are thriving and all of that. There is that whole cross section of people.
I have not talked about making it. I've talked about security, life, future for children. That is not the environment for that anymore. I was making it. I am still making it from there. I have products in the system that I still get my royalties from. So I'm at this level, self. Should I even be hobnobbing all over the place? I'm an elder statesman in that industry. I've paid my dues on every level. I'm the only person who has an award in every field in entertainment in Nigeria. Over 34 music albums, over 30 movies. Without taking a loan, I've written 2 books. I have gospel album. I have every kind of album. I have done almost everything. I have acted with everybody. I have products that people have not seen. So where is making it coming into the picture? I met someone in Houston that said, so you two, you have jumped ship. I'm like, is there a ship? Is there a ship?
Sentiment that a lot of people seem to have. I don't understand the sentiment.
Where is there a ship? You're all in the desert. You're not sailing. You're just sand. Igniting sand. So much vendetta, toxicity, bitterness, ego, arrogance, classism. The thing killing Nigeria is not even the mass populace, it's the elite. We keep thinking it's just the politicians. The elites who decide who should take the country forward. But for their personal aggrandizement, selfish interest, somebody telling our Egbon, Baba yo that's my uncle Kwabel, that's where I eat, so we must vote him. Not considering what would happen to 200 million people or 200 plus. The elites decide because they send the foot soldiers who don't have their own orientation. They are soldier ants. It is wherever the queen says or the go this way they go. They don't decide. They are just passing through time. They could have been in Mexico doing the same thing. But the people who decide how society should be structured, which direction it should go, will camp against whoever they see will progress the nation. It's not now. It's been from the days of Awolowo, way before Awolowo. That's the structure of Nigeria, the black man's structure, the pulling down syndrome, the crab bucket mentality. So we are who we are. We cannot now say it is now that it started. It's just that we're seeing it in different new forms. As the populace increases, you get to see different dimensions of the same negative vibes. So we're just in the same system over and over. So I didn't leave because the system could not fend for me, or I could not fend for myself in the system. But because of the basic things that should not be, I am paying for electricity that I am not using. I don't even get the electricity. I am going to queue for fuel that should be readily available. And then I used to buy fuel in jerry cans for maybe 14,000 naira. And I sleep and wake up and I'm buying that same fuel for 76,000 naira. The same fuel within 6 months. So it starts to make you look like, are you mentally sane? Are you making sense being in this place? Yes, everybody cannot run away, but if you can, even the Bible permits it. Go away from here for now.
Really?
Yes.
What part of Bible?
God told Moses to leave. God told Abraham, leave. There have been several instances of God telling people, relocate for a while. Go find some sort of peace in yourself. Because the insanity can drive you insane. When you see certain things every day, when you drive in traffic in Lagos, I've been here, I've seen how people are moving about. I lived in Richmond for a while in 2018. I was driving around, no issues. I didn't see any, as bad as they drive in Texas, it is still saner. You pull out and then somebody just go, yeah, and you just can't comprehend it. Sometimes you laugh it off. Sometimes you can't take it. There was one evening, Ashley and I were going to a function at Adeni Jones. We had to go through Oba Akran. And then I'm taking the last right so that I would turn into Adeni Jones. And then this Korope Danfo guy just kept coming, bearing down on my right. You have been seeing the indicator that this is where he's going. He kept, and now by the time we get to the junction, he is going straight. It means he would hold me down. And he kept trying to bear on me. At some point, I just let him. Then, I don't know, he now saw ahead that there was a bump in the road. They had packed some sand out of the land. They were doing some pipes. So he couldn't, so he now had to come this way again. Now, as he came back through this side, he wanted to now take over me. Wait, wait, let's hold on. You mean when I waited for you that side, I will now wait for you to turn around and come like this? That was when I just lost it. I came down from the car. I left the celebrity. And I'm like, excuse me, like, Ashni was telling me, say, Baba, leave him. So some people in the bus. So now the conductor was the one causing the mayhem. The driver would follow the conductor's directions, Abi. So the conductor was giving me the shoulder of like, so when I got down and I looked at the driver, I did address the conductor. If it happens, will you be able to cope? Both ways, I have it. Legit, illegal. And if you come down one-on-one, I might look like this to you, but I will give you. So some people in the bus now started tapping and say, that man, na big man, oh. And that's what we do in Nigeria. People have pushed people in Nigeria to the point that people have to become big men to use it to suppress them. Now, with my connection, I could have dealt with the guy anyhow. So I think the conductor now picked. The next thing, tarmac things. I said, okay. I had to just, okay, no problem. As often as you see these things, it starts to, get to you. And there's a limit. Must you burst a blood vessel every day of the week? And we say because of what you encounter on the daily, you should stop going out. Do we talk about all the price increase in food and all those things? Because you can afford it does not mean that you should not fight for the people who cannot. And then soon as you come out to want to fight for people's rights, the same you become the victim of the system. Either ways. It's either the polity takes you down or the people you are fighting for start to discriminate against you. See what they do to our legends on social media. See how they talk ridiculously to our people. See how they ridicule tested and trusted men of value. People who made your parents and even you as toddlers happy as a people, gave you beautiful music and drama. You have the guts to come online and insult them ridiculously.
Like who?
Have you gone to Idris Abdulkarim's page? Have you seen how they talk to Charlie Boy? Have you seen how they talk to me sometimes? Recently, I made some remarks at an interview about techno being the one who brought in the new bounce for Afrobeats. Afrobeat didn't have that bounce. It was just our groove normal. But techno started sampling sounds into it like hip-hop music does in America. And then that caught fire. Every other young producer started following it. He did 2 songs for Davido, If and Fall For You. And those 2 songs became big mega hits in America. It became a new sound that people started sampling. R. Kelly even did his own version. And I say, credit should be given to techno for that. See what they were saying to me on social media. Ignorant. People who don't do research, they have the data but will not take the time to go study for 3 minutes. They will not even say, okay, let me check this and,
Wait, sorry, I don't. So, this thing is, so all you did was say, look, techno deserves credit for bringing bounce
into Afrobeat.
and decided to abuse you.
And then that's all. That's why for a long time I stopped granting interviews. I don't do interviews. If you get me to do an interview before I left Nigeria, I must really consider you gone. Because I just feel every time you do an interview, they misconstrue your words. They no longer have comprehension. Because the educational system has collapsed drastically. It has fallen beyond comprehension. A lot of sense is leaving Nigeria. A lot of sense. As a matter of fact, the well-to-do are leaving Nigeria to do well elsewhere.
Okay. All right, great. So, here we are. I mean, here we are. Halfway through life, as it were.
Yeah.
For us, and you've now come to America, and for all intents and purposes, this is going to be principally home now.
For a while, yeah.
For a while, going
back and forth,
back
really.
and forth.
But driving, if I'm doing about 70% of my time over here, that means
this is home.
Yeah.
No transition is easy.
Yeah, sure.
Are you prepared? I mean, because you've told me that in private. I mean, in private, I just need to underscore this is what you're saying. You told me that you're committed to this American thing. That this is not Koffi, a star coming.
No. The legend was left at Murtala International Airport. I left the legend there.
That Koffi, that guru, that legend.
No.
This is a man who has come here.
Oh no. No. See, for me, values, family values. When I was a kid and I was asked, at some point, what do you want to be? After I lost the thirst to be a pharmacist, I just wanted to be a family man. You see, when you don't understand your blessings, you lose them. The moment I realized my blessings, I stayed in it. Family is my blessing. So whatever it takes to get my kids the right things, nigga, I'm gonna do that. Right here, I'm gonna do that. So when I was leaving the airport, no, I'm not legend. I was just smiling at them. I've left the legend here. I'm pursuing a legacy over there. So first and foremost, we do not qualify as we operate in Nigeria to do certain things here. So immediately I got here, I started enrolling in some acting level, did auditions to become a thorough actor, pulled up to an agency, and although I'm following through all those processes. Meanwhile, every other little thing that could bring in money, I will do. I'm still making money quietly in several areas that can sustain me, but having to stay at home without doing anything, it starts to, especially since you are here alone for a while. But by the time the kids come, I know my hands will be busy. I'll be doing this, take them to school, and so all of those activities. But prior to that, whatever my guys feel I can get engaged in, I told them, please pull me up, let me know. So in the past 4 days, I've not actually slept. I've been on the road from Dallas to San Antonio to Houston, back to Arlington, shooting. I've been working. I've been busy doing. But when they say odd jobs, I say, what is odd job? In this land in America, nobody looks down on you. It is in Nigeria that I can't do these things. I put my car up for Uber at some point in Nigeria. Told my cousin to drive it. One day I told him that, but I like do this, Only say I'll be celebrity and they go recognize me. I like to be handy. I like to move around. I like humble, noble things. I don't forget the son of who am I. My mother's son. So I still want to be in that space. It keeps me humble and lowly. Thank God that I maintain that spirit. I met a young man at Aso Rock in Dallas, and he said he was telling people about my humility. That this Egbon, as far back as 2001, used to cater for us at shows. Then whenever he's doing his own things, he would invite us. Remember that dancing guy, Dr. Ansheyi?
Come on, man. How can I ever forget the doctor?
Yeah.
Doctor. He's a DJ now.
Yes. So one of his crew members was the guy. Now came to meet me. So when he came to meet me, I was, he said, Baba, this meeting where I come meet you here and I test. I they prove to them say you humble, they no believe. Now make me come. So that they go to see from far saying how true I they talk. So people like me who don't have a shame to hustle righteously, I don't think it's any. If you see me in Yankee doing DoorDash or any of those things, it's just me passing time for what I want to eventually do. I know my game, but I don't need your validation to be a man, especially in a strange land that doesn't care for you. Your bills will press you back home. And since I'm not interested in going back home for another 7 years or so, I'm going to do what I have to do, except be illegal. I came in here legally. I have my social security immediately. I have everything that I need. My papers are legit. So what stops me from being the normal average American whilst I'm here? I'm just like every other person. They don't see all this nonsense that we see back home. I saw a dishwashing. I'm being real. Nigerians don't like real. So I don't think I have to be in a place that you're not seeing as real. I saw a dishwashing this thing and I told my wife, see, I saw this dishwashing this thing. And she goes, what's that? I said, at least my hands will be warm. I saw little jobs like that. She was like, and that was the reason why we hadn't moved a long time. As far back as 2021, we could have moved. But she kept thinking in her head, what would this guy do all his life? He's been an entertainer. He's been a creative. In that space, there is no room for creative processes and all those things like he's doing here. Until one day I snuck up on her and found out, why is this taking so long? She goes, Tieno, we're thinking of how you're going. I'm like, hey, hold up, nigga. Hold up, nigga. What are you thinking? That I'm going to pack myself from Nigeria and go and do all these things I've been doing for 25 years. This kitty kata kata. I need rest. I need to take it. I'm old. Baba yesterday was saying, I'm like, hey, excuse me, babe. I'm not going there to do all of this. I need to do whatever, easy peasy. Have my place, have the kids, build up every time. I need to just, and she was like, we didn't know. We're thinking of how it will be for a whole Koffi Guru. Tali Koffi Guru. What are you talking about? First and foremost, I'm a man that must provide for my family. There's no shame in hustling righteously. I don't see a shame in. As a matter of fact, we need to send that orientation back to Nigeria. That if the same superstars back home that cannot do menial jobs come to America to do menial jobs, to continue to do better than they were at home, it means there's something wrong with the system. So it means back home, we should exemplify and start to do menial things righteously with respect to everybody. If we respect each individual for what they do, Nigeria would not need greed and corruption to hail men. Because everybody wants respect and they know that authority comes with, dropping things. But if I know that back in the day, the musicians used to hail ordinary men because they were valuable men. The men didn't have money. Ebenezer Obey hailed my uncle way back. Miliki, photographer, ordinary man living in Morocco. But Ebenezer Obey did a record to hail the man. How do you think Miliki felt all through his life? But now, if you cannot, you don't get hailed. Hardly would you hear any musician hail at a common man anymore. So every Nigerian wants to be uncommon. Maybe I said, Bonaboy, be common person. So for me, I would do anything, bro. As in legit. As I'm doing show, if I see Amazon Flex and you see me at your door, I will catch up, I'll deliver and then go to the next person.
I'll take a picture with you too.
Yeah, sure. Funny thing. This is a fact. You can go check with my assistant Wasiu from way back, Mosho and all those people. I actually structured a dispatch system called Errand Boy for us to pick items and go dispatch to people, and that I'll be turning up as the special guest delivery.
Well,
it just didn't work out because my people were complacent. I wanted to personally do that. So I now come to a land where it is, and I make money with it. Back home, I won't make money with it, but I will make money. No, forget all that, man.
All right. Rounding this up and off, it just occurred to me as you were speaking that I don't think a lot of people remember this. That the first time that I saw Nice was in your video. Aroma was on
remix,
was on that remix. That's again, it brings to the fore of my mind how long you have been doing this and what you've put into it. That thing that Nice was at that time relatively unknown. He was just on his way up at that time. This was way before
2006.
Gongwaso, at least before Gongwaso.
2006 actually.
Yeah, 2006.
Gongwaso was 2009.
Aha. Shomo alata lo ni panshara o ati la baby. In
fact, that album had the biggest Big Low, Desperado, Cash 11, Nice, myself, Tolu Ajayi.
Yeah.
And Kabasa produced it.
Yeah, so to put a fine point on it, you've put all of this in and you don't feel like it has come back in Nigeria in a sense. No one has done all of this work and the output has not been commensurate to the input.
For me, it was to a certain level, I must be honest.
Yeah.
You know, for a brand to have stayed relevant over time, over 2 decades in Nigeria, it's hardly ever possible. As a matter of fact, I consider myself the last man standing that left.
There's a reason why I asked that question. When you finish, I'll tell you why I asked. There's a reason I asked that question.
For me, if you look at the structure of America, maybe I could have gotten a lot more royalties through that song. But Nigeria doesn't have that structure. But what it did for me, and it still does for me, is that for every time I make the music and do a video, it continuously plays in the mind of the people that he is here. So that was the gain for me. And because I was making money from the corporate circles and the social event circles, it was commensurate. I didn't have to make the money as a musician or a singer or a music performer. Some people can be recording artists. So I consider myself a recording artist in that instance. That I don't necessarily have to come out and perform to gain it. But so long as it gives me visibility, because if I have to advertise my brand on television, I will spend more. But this is me doing music, entertaining people and getting advertisements. So it was working. So for every time I drop something out there, somebody say, "Oh, Koffi," and then that's Koffi. Well, let's call him for our event. So I was getting my results with it. So it wasn't a loss totally.
Okay.
It's just that over time, the taste for quality music in Nigeria dwindled, and we didn't need to have to force it in anymore. As much as people complain, we have not been hearing you. No. You have chosen what you want to hear. And in Nigeria, the more professional you become, the more they throw you out. Nigeria is not a place where experience is valued. That's why you see our octogenarians queuing for their entitlements and dying on the queues. So as you advance in Nigeria, that's the more they want to push you out, and they want to bring in some other people that they can exploit, because you have gone beyond the bar of exploitation. If you can't be used, you are useless. That's Nigeria for you. If you get to the point where you have become your own man and you cannot kiss ass, which is me, number one individual that everybody knows never has and never will. Never had, never will. So there have been several blacklistings, but we keep surviving them and every other. So for me, I think it translated for me in a way.
Okay.
It translated for me.
This is the reason why I ask. You have been in the industry for decades now. You know, relatively speaking, in a manner of speaking, you know the ins
and the outs.
So, from what we see and from what we can gather online, it seems where our industry is getting up there in the glitz and the glamour.
Yes.
I saw the pictures from an award show just in fact, they're still trending right now. I mean, there are all these glitzy pictures. We seem to be doing well.
I like the use of the word seem.
On the surface, we're doing big things.
Yeah.
You know, we're wearing great clothes. We're doing a huge social media followings. I can't help but wonder.
We're pretending.
That's where I'm going. Are we pretend? Is there substance to all of these pictures we're seeing? All of these red carpets, all of these things, all of these cars, all of this. Is there substance, or is it just white coding it?
Let me say this on record. In the nearest future, if you go check my Instagram page, I put it there, Koffi the Guru, mental health humorist. The rate of depression and suicide in Nigeria is going to increase drastically very soon.
Say that again.
Yes, the rate of suicide and depression, beyond this playful depression, is going to increase drastically very soon. And that's from the projections of falsehood that a lot of people are following and having to meet up with. Yes, the industry is doing well in a sense, but it is not impacting in the lives of people as it should, redirecting their thoughts and processes. It's just for the moment. It's flimsy. It doesn't carry weight like it used to. I'm very sure if you sit back to reflect very well, you will remember a particular episode of New Masquerade that you watched as a kid. Or maybe an experience of Samanja.
I can never forget in my life Felix in Ojuladipo Theatre.
Yes.
When Papilu never used to call him Felix. Papilu used to call him Bellit. Bellit. And Felix say, Papilu, I don't tell you. My name not be Bellit, not Felix. That till today, that still cracks.
You remember things from
and I was 6.
Baba Salah Theatre. I still have the phonotapes. So those impactful core value things that gave us direction is lost. The youngins,
I'm sorry.
The youngins are not picking anything valuable. The podcasts are further deteriorating their thought processes and their needs. A lot of
sorry, I'm jumping as a podcaster right now. You're saying that the principal podcast that we have,
a lot of it, you are one of the very few, and you're not even a podcaster. It's just because of the transition that you have to bring it to this level. Ordinarily, back in your base, you would have done it like you were doing it.
Yeah, full show.
Yeah, but because of the situation and the conditions, and because we have to get to the marketplace faster.
Yeah, and because we would like to have longer conversations as well.
So, but the primary podcast hustlers do not have the valuable content to discuss and constantly just junk in. So the podcasters, the bloggers are in connivance, like we must destroy this junk, we must destroy them. The subject matters are all about the negatives in relationships, how suddenly exes are useless people. How did we get to, remember in the past when you and your ex moved on, you stayed friends, you helped one another to make things happen. But now you come online all the time to do contests about how your exes were terrible people. When you were together, that things were good. There were values in them. So suddenly, because of certain things that don't work anymore, those values have gone. So we keep churning out junk and feeding this young generation that they must be vile. They must be toxic to survive. They must say nasty things. They must comment stupidly. They must be foolish. That's what the blogs and the podcasters are telling them, that the topics should not matter. It should not bring. That's why you see on comments in some podcast episodes that people will comment, hey, now this kind of people are supposed to bring. No be people who are going to talk about nyash and all those kind of maybe relationship this, relationship that. Every TV show is about relationship. Every podcast, relationship. Everybody is talking about the very negative things about those situations. They are not bringing the. Nobody has come to say, Koffi and his wife have been together since 2001. And look at the healthy family. The blogs are not pushing that as a narrative constantly. They are not looking for credible family values to post out there. But once two people have a skirmish, they watch the entire pages everywhere. This one retrending this. I don't go to Twitter. It's appalling how gutterish elite people are behaving on another man's social media platform. One day the Oyibo man can turn off the switch, and we all see that we spent all these years on that platform adding no value to ourselves, because all the bickerings still hasn't brought any result. As a matter of fact, most of the bickerings always just engineer us into higher anticipation of anger. Most of the time, the discussions always end up bringing us more out to be angry. No solutions ahead. We're not even seeing it. So I think what we should do constantly is to reorientate ourselves. Say, look, let's tone it down. You see the debates all the time, whiskey versus. We're talking about fuel scarcity. People cannot eat. And for weeks, the debate was about whiskey and Davido. Constantly.
At the point I was thinking, I thought to myself, did the powers that be go to pay these guys to have a fight so that they can distract people? Because I don't understand why this is.
Fortunately, whiskey is not on the side of government, so I won't agree to that philosophy.
I know, I didn't say.
I know. I was just, if somebody said it, I'll say no.
That why is this? Why is this?
And Davido is not in alliance with the government of the day.
Why is this an issue that is?
So it's appalling, really.
But there's something you mentioned that leads me to ask my final question now. So you mentioned relationships, how the breakups, and it's been discussed and celebrated on social media and all of that. What's happening here? Should we be scared as well? Is there an epidemic going around?
No, there's nothing wrong. Like I said, the people who feed on these things and blow it up are the problem. If these guys were not famous people and these things happened in their neck of the wood, nobody would know. These things happen to regular other people every day. My job is to entertain you, not to feed you with everything happening in my home. But because people are privy to information, get it out there to some person who wants to feed them.
Yeah, that's a good point. But somebody once said, so somebody made this argument once.
Yeah.
Then another person said, well, that would be the case if you had not also put your life.
So I would say,
on social media as it were.
I would say the person who has put their life on social media, I don't think there was any point in time that they came on social media to put it out that they are exactly having those problems. Until someone else makes it known. Go find out. It is always a third party that brings the juice, that goes behind the back to whisper to the bloggers that there's a crisis in his home. He brings the good part of his home to you. But you people decide to go look for where he has an Achilles heel, and you want to pull him down or pull them down. They probably want to go their separate ways amicably, beautifully, and they're trying to sort themselves out and go their ways. But once the tension rises, it goes to boiling point and they can't just hold it anymore, and then they also start getting very tense and then become very negative in their reactions, and then it starts to feed the public. Yes, that's what they want to see. They want to see blood. They want to see gore. They want you to perish.
Yeah, because I ask this because I'm always curious as to how one can. This is not about who broke up with whom. I mean, we're all recipients of grace.
Yes.
I mean, there's nobody that knows how to do it. There are people who break up and never saw it coming.
Exactly.
So it's
most actually.
Yeah. So I'm always curious as to how can one navigate the news, the fallout. I mean, is it? So that's why I asked that. If it happens, is it that there's no way for you to navigate it without you falling victim to this wicked world of backlash and social media?
Somebody said the best cure for drug abuse is not to start at all. So for your own mental health and your family's wealth, because most people think money is wealth, peace of mind is wealth. Mm-hmm. So for that future, don't even start at all.
Don't start posting.
Don't even engage the public, because your job is to entertain them.
Exactly. So that's what that person was saying.
Yes.
That person was saying, look, what is this social media platform about?
Validation. Now I have a problem.
We major on the social, and we minor on the media.
Exactly.
We forget that we're supposed to major on the media.
Exactly.
And minor on
create your own narrative. I'm not here to feed your innuendos and your expectations of me is not my expectation of myself. I am well grounded in my values. I will not give away my values to entertain you, because whatever you're doing at your workplace, you don't do it to satisfy me. My work is a 9 to 5 as far as I'm concerned. To you, when you pay for it, you get it. So anything outside 9 to 5, I don't owe you. So first and foremost, I will not post it. Besides work, if it is boring to you, go to the next page. Those who pay for the value would always get it. My wife and children are not your entertainment. Once in a while, you might see some post about family, and that's not for you who is a total stranger. It is for the far away familiar people who should know that, oh, my wife just turned 40. So you are in the US, I can't call you, but you see it on my page. Those who are far away, who are family or close allies or fans that deserve to know that, all these years that you've invested in me, I'm actually doing well. My daughter just graduated. So these are the people that deserve those. But anything that becomes a bit untoward, I should not feed it to you because it's not your personal problem. You have your problems too. I don't see how people leave their problems and then focus on someone else's problem.
Yeah, it's your problems that is the entertainment and distractions away from their own problem.
Both people are losing. The person eating the junk and the person they are being used. The blogger in the middle and the corporates looking for the numbers are the ones cleaning out. So why are we two idiots feeding off each other for them? So I would never do that. And for any of our colleagues who constantly at this stage continues to pursue validation of a young generation that should look up to them, I think they are in error. There is a limit to what we should do in a space. Once God has blessed and graced you, stay in your blessings. Stop trying to prove to everybody that you are doing well. God will take it. People don't understand that thing about grace. If you keep stepping on your grace, God will see that you don't need it and give it to the next person. Because He has given you everything, and the most important thing that He has given you as authority as a man to be the head of a family, you're losing it. Every other thing would go because your peace of mind would make you lose the rest. But if you stay in the main objective of man, every other little thing from all those places, you will see that it doesn't even matter. It keeps coming. It might even be later in your see kanayo at this stage. Very much relevant. But if you go check, he wasn't exactly trying to validate himself all over the place. But he took what was most important to heart, family. Recently, he's now showing the results of that hard work. He brings his son to show you that my son is about to. Some people are even insulting him for doing that. So for me, if you want to post anything about your family, once in a while, good points, everything, but don't let a snake into your home that has access to the people that want to see you fall. Don't have people around you, charlatans, who do not exactly bring anything to the table. People who come and say, yes, I did there when him and Oga. Those third parties that would always are hungry enough to want to feed off your fall. I don't have such people around me.
So the volume of the explosion of the fallout is relative to the level of exposure that you've also
allowed people
given to the world.
Yes.
So
that's your
degree
fault.
To which you have shown your family and because I see those comments sometimes that how can you, because they say respect our privacy. Then you see the comments that how can we respect
when you were the one that came to feed us?
When you were the one that came to feed us.
Yes.
When you were posting the pictures, did you tell us to respect?
Now there should have been a caveat to that.
Yeah.
Respect our privacy. Remember that it was only our good times that we posted.
But again, but you're on the money. Look, perhaps we should reduce the. And I'm saying that look, nobody sabi
pass. Nobody holy pass.
There's nobody that knows how to do this. Again, I'm just curious as to how one might be able to control if it ever happens. How do you control?
Don't start
the fallout of.
Once it's out there, it's out there because the internet never forgets. You can never wash it. See Sarkodie now, he's been beefed, and then they are referencing his Yvonne Nelson or whoever person years ago, his ex. Now they're digging that up and using that to bash him in raps. So just be careful what you throw out there about yourself, because your children will pick it in future. They go to some place, they want to pick up something very engaging and very responsible, and somebody remarks, was your father not?
Okay. Didn't this your
so
didn't this your daddy?
Wahala.
Hey, okay, Baba. Look, we could keep doing this. You're easily now trending into one of my longest interviews, and we haven't even gotten into the places.
We'll do a part 2 now.
Yeah, so that's why I like that that we're around each other now, both in Lagos and in the United States. So we can do it on both sides of the coast. You're welcome.
By the way, I hold the record for being the only entertainer who has appeared on your platforms for a 3rd time. I think I am.
So there's one on Teju Babyface show. Where was the second one?
Walkerman Movement. Oh
yes, you did that. You came first alone.
Yes.
You came back with the crew.
Walkerman Movement.
And then you're doing this on the thought. Do I have a 3-time return?
I am the only person.
I will think about it.
I am. I am.
Oh, get him wrong.
Pay setter.
You got to tell him. Sorry, forgive us.
You can't know. That goes deep one way back. Yeah, you can't know.
We're out.